President Biden is in the country's southwest today, drumming up support for his 2024 presidential campaign. The president is holding campaign events in both Reno, Nevada, and Phoenix, Arizona. Between his appearances there, the president is also traveling to Las Vegas to deliver remarks on the economy. Primaries are happening in Arizona, Kansas, Illinois, Ohio, and Florida today. However, there will be no ballot in Florida for the Democrats because the state's party provided only President Biden's name as its preferred candidate. I want to bring in CBS News campaign reporter Aaron Navarro, who is in Las Vegas, and CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa, who's in Washington. Aaron, let's start with you. So the president is spending the majority of his day there in Nevada, where primaries are not happening. So what's the point?
Well, Lily, in Nevada and Arizona, where President Biden will be later today to launch this Latinos con Biden-Harris Latino organization supporting his campaign. But these are two states that are very important for him in 2024. He won them narrowly in 2020. And when you look at the polling in these states, you see Biden behind or within the margin of error of former President Trump. And especially in Arizona, he only won that state by a bit over 10,000 votes. So it's also the Biden campaign kind of flexing their money right now. They have nearly double the cash on hand that Trump and the RNC have. They went into March with over 155 million cash on hand, and they're using that in travel to these battleground states and targeted ads.
And Robert, let's talk now about Trump. He is now facing backlash again for something he said. This after saying Jewish people who vote for Democrats hate Israel and hate their religion. To what extent could those remarks hurt his campaign? What's being said?
This entry into the debate over Israel's handling of the war with Hamas is another flashpoint in the 2024 presidential campaign. Trump has drawn sharp criticism for his statements, his use of incendiary language, not only in this recent interview, but on the campaign trail in recent weeks, where he has waded into discussions about January 6th by using the word hostages to describe those facing prosecutions. He has used very charged language to describe undocumented migrants, and now in describing those who have a Jewish faith in this country, he said things that really caused criticism across the board. But many Republicans are standing with Trump. They're framing President Biden as someone who's weak in his handling of Prime Minister Netanyahu and other elements of that war. And so this is part of a political environment where the crossfire in terms of words exchange is always very heated, and the political consequences are hard to read because Trump's use of this kind of language is nothing new, and it's almost baked into how many Republicans, at least, factor in what he says.
And on that, I mean, Trump's language tends to sometimes alienate certain groups. Of course, his words about migrants, I'm sure, have impacted a lot of Latinos who feel like, you know, this is a blanket kind of statement and could be offended by it. But Aaron, I understand that Biden is now launching this Latinos con Biden-Harris program. Is this another one of those, okay, we're going to serve tacos and play some generic reggaeton in the background, or are they talking about issues that people care? What's the message there?
Well, if you look at the ad today, and they launched ads in all these battleground states in English, Spanish, and Spanglish, a mixture in different dialects, kind of acknowledging that Latino vote is not a monolith. But in terms of the content of the ad, they mentioned prescription drug prices, President Biden and his work to lower those, as well as abortion. But if you look at some of our CBS News polling, it's an electorate that, despite some of Trump's incendiary comments, has shifted a little bit Republican in recent elections, in part because of this sort of nostalgia for the economy under President Trump, or under former President Trump. So that's why you're seeing the Biden campaign make this outreach now, months before they usually do, or campaigns traditionally do in past presidential cycles, in part because they can, and in part because they know they have a lot of work to do to shore up that Latino vote support.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Robert, Trump's endorsement record is back on the line today in Ohio. Let's talk about the tight Senate race that's happening there and how his endorsement is possibly influencing it.
Trump's endorsed candidate, Bernie Moreno, is someone who is locked in a tight race against a favorite of traditional Republicans, Matt Dolan. Now, if Dolan is able to win in Ohio, that would be something that's damaging to Trump's political standing in Ohio in terms of being able to will a candidate across the finish line. At the same time, Moreno is someone who has not run a campaign that has won him tons of fans inside of the Ohio GOP. So this is really a traditional GOP in Ohio wing versus the Trump wing proxy fight. That's really an example of how the GOP across the country is facing so many primary battles this year, where a Trump-type candidate is facing off against someone who's much more like a conservative we've seen from the past, who's much more in the ilk of Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader.
Right. Aaron Navarro, Robert Costa, thank you both so much.